rankings for teams in the SEC after SEC Media Day. Now, one guy did vote the Kentucky Wildcats to win the league. Now, kudos to him. I was there several years ago, and someone voted the Ole Miss Rebels. This was years ago in Birmingham to win that. But you look at Arkansas, where they rank in the SEC. And is that a place where college football can be turned around and put them in the upper echelon of the SEC? What is the ceiling in Fayetteville, Arkansas? Not in year one, but like after 3 years with Ryan Silverfield.
I mean, he's definitely got all of the tools there. You've got the money, you've got the backing. So I think he's going to have a decent time, getting players. I don't know. Some of his other comments were. Did you guys see his comment about his aura?
No, explain to us.
So he had a comment. One of the media people in attendance asked him about his aura, and he said something about he has a hot wife, so he's clearly got aura. We're gonna have to look up the quote, but that was his response. He was like, "I've got a hot wife, so I've got aura."
So does Brett Bielema.
Does Brett Bielema have the aura? But you look at the
Brett Bielema is not who comes to mind when I hear the word aura.
Talk about quarterbacks in the SEC as well today. Of course, hear from you. And the layoffs. Does it surprise you, the layoffs at ESPN? Ryan Clark, Cam Newton. I got a lot of text from the most intelligent audience in all of sports radio. Like, what is Cam going to do now? Cam doesn't have to do anything at this point. He does have the podcast, but he is not going to have to do anything. But it was amazing that they lay those people off after the extensions. After the extensions, they lay them off. But anyway, love to hear from you. 888-993-7762. But I'm going to start with this. The University of Alabama, and welcome those listening in Jackson, Alabama. And you had to know that I was going to start with this. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see it. I know that RJ did, and I think Cheer Guy, you have seen it. But the director, Aaron Suttles, the director of the Yay Alabama NIL initiative in Tuscaloosa, was arrested. Not a good look for solicitation yesterday. Yay Alabama director of content, Aaron Suttles, was arrested on charges of soliciting prostitution. Could this be foreshadowing the type of season that the Crimson Tide have this year?
You got to know that Nick was bringing this up, but it was like the director of media or something. So it was literally, I think, the guy that posts on Facebook for the collective. So you may be putting a little bit too much stock in this. Yeah. I think you just see a little chip in Alabama's armor per se, and you're just gonna drive that knife in there.
No, you know I was gonna. What do you think about it? Welcome to the show, number one son. No foreshadowing of the University of Alabama season.
Well, he's so far off from Alabama administration. Like, this guy is not a part of the program. Like, he's just not.
Well, you know what? Don't let facts get in the way of a good story.
And so now we've ruined the whole show because Nick was really hoping that he would be able to spend 30 minutes on this and how it was going to be bad for Alabama.
Well, I tell you what, who knows it's bad for Alabama? That is our number one caller every Saturday morning. Chuckopedia, how are you?
Good morning to you all, and you know what? Yeah, Kellen DeBoer is going to have to. He's talking about the capstone. He's going to have to win on the capstone. He want to stay there. That's a pressure cooker. And those jobs, those are pressure cooker jobs. Just like Lane Kiffin, going to have to step up at down at LSU, and you were just talking about the layoffs there with Ryan Clark and Cam Newton and others. And you know what? That's something. Ryan Clark was just on at the MEAC Football Media Day, Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. They had their Football Media Day at M&T Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland, where the Baltimore Ravens play. They had their setup there in the Baltimore Ravens locker room. As 6 members football playing schools in that conference. And by the way, Trey Oliver's on Jaguar Journal right now with Perry White down in Baton Rouge. They're talking to him by hookup, North Carolina Central School. He's a coach at Grambling. But he was one of the people that Brian Clark and him talked to, because they were having, they had the coaches in there about three. It was kind of a round table style discussion, the pivot podcast with Ryan Clark, Channing Crowder, and Fred Taylor. And it was a great discussion. And they were not just talking about X and O. They just being, what they had to do beyond the gridiron with the players to make sure that the players are okay. Be it academically or mentally and everything else. And the things that the schools that we're discussing right now don't have to do, because they have staff there to do that. See, these schools don't have that. And they said they're taking on all these responsibilities. And they had them in there by threes, and then they had other threes to come in there. And it was a great discussion. But Ryan Clark, I think with that podcast, that's just keeping him going. And look at Cam Newton with his podcast. And that's what's happening. We're having that money. We're having the focus at ESPN is on Pat McAfee and Stephen A. Smith. That's where that big money is going, and that's what's going on now. And what they're doing, and you see all these podcasts, just like Shannon Sharp. He had his Club Shay Shay podcast with him and Chad Ochocinco on there. And that's what the podcast is the one that are taking on. Even at these media days, that's what you're seeing now. People can't even say that, they expect to see the traditional radio and TV people there, but those podcasters are coming there. And I think it's kind of hitting some of those people that, wait a minute, what are they doing? They say, are they media? People question it, but I'm like, hey, that's who people are listening to get their news. And not taking anything away from you all. I enjoy what you all do as well, but this is where it is now, because if something happens with the traditional media, they have the podcast to fall back on. But that's where it is. I didn't mean to go a long time, but I just had to put that out there. And then Ryan Clark is not coaching now. Even with the Archbishop Show, Mickey Joseph and, Vance Joseph, they all went to Archbishop Show and Marrero. And then no telling, you know what, Mickey Joseph could have see if he will come over and see if he will get his fellow Eagle will come in and help him out. And then, Tierney's there. I know he does things, mentorship down at the show, and they might call and say, hey, look, can you come coach the secondary? Hank Tierney might call, and you never know.
Oh, man, you are correct. Man, Chuckopedia, as always, we appreciate your call. You have a great weekend.
All right, you all take care, and I hope things I'm looking forward to the football season, and Lane Kiffin got up there, and he say anything. He got he's talking about Money Kiffin. He said he never thought that his father, Money Kiffin, and Hulk Hogan would transition from this life. He's going to come and say anything, but that'll be my landing gear.
All right, man, Chuck, we appreciate it. You have a great weekend, and you can call just like Chuck did at 888-993-7762. That is the Origin Bank hotline, or you can text RJ this morning. Same number, 888-993-7762. LeBron. We don't talk a lot of NBA here, but LeBron going to the 76ers, I think the 76ers may be, you know what, I think I'm going to pull for Philadelphia next year. Going back with Charles Barkley.
Do we finally trust the process?
Wow, Nick's a sellout. That's what I'm hearing right now. Nick's a sellout.
I mean, I don't know of Nick ever having a specific NBA
I like
team.
I like the 76ers when Barkley played. Then I went to the Houston Rockets when Barkley played. I think you going back.
Did you skip Phoenix, where he had his most success?
I was heartbroken. Phoenix. I wanted him to get a title. Like there are things
I was rooting for.
Like
the
there are
year
things you want to see in sports. Okay, that's a great topic.
I rooted
this
for Phoenix that year. They just didn't have enough.
All right. What's something that you want to see in sports? Like, I'll give you an example. I would like to see Dave Van Horn at Arkansas win a national championship in college baseball. That's something I would like to see.
Wait, hold on. I want to go backwards here.
That's the story of your life. It's all the cartwheels and tumbles, but you've tumbled one too many times here, guy.
Like we've got to start. I want to go back to the LeBron thing. I think we're going to open this up, and it's probably going to blow up on us. Who's the greatest of all time for you?
Oh, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan.
Okay, I was based on what you just said. I was really curious.
I.e. of the new the younger generation. What year were you born?
2005.
So you never in your life saw him play live.
No.
All you've seen is highlights.
All I've seen is highlights.
Who?
I don't watch basketball. Like this was my next thing. I was gonna ask you, Big Nick. I was gonna ask you.
Oh, I like it, Big Nick.
There
Big
we
Nick.
go.
Yeah, well, he keeps filling up on these
The
donuts,
gr-
and we gotta change the name. But when is the last time that you sat down and watched a professional basketball game through and through?
Well,
no, take a second.
no,
because
no,
there's no way
Okay.
that you had that on the top of your head.
Your mother can testify to this.
You watched a little of the playoffs this past year. Didn't you?
Okay, that's what I was going to say.
But to his point, was it tip off the final horn?
okay,
No.
Of course not.
okay,
No,
all
it
right,
wasn't.
all right, all right. Einstein's first of all attack. I feel like a human dartboard in here this morning. You ask your mother because she came into the den on one of the 3 TVs and she says,
With a look of shock and awe.
"That is
Look,
correct."
no,
She
no,
said,
no,
"What
no.
are we doing?" I said, "It's the playoffs. We're watching the NBA."
And it was solid basketball.
And we
I
did,
enjoyed it.
and it was. And then the next night when she came in, she said, "Oh, we're going to watch again." I said, "We are." And so we watched the playoffs. I do not watch the NBA until the playoffs, which I'm sorry you got your.
Did the ghost of David Stern pull a Jacob Marley and come to Adam Silver in his dream and tell him, "Hey, you're about to lose what I built," and because I've noticed some of the moves the NBA have made, we'll say the past calendar year. Like, okay, you're trying.
I think they're trying to
The
get.
effort-
They're going after the guys like me that grew up disenchanted, disfranchised.
The yen they bring in, it's nice. It sits in the bank well, but I think you've kind of got to remind who built the league. Who's your fan base at its core, and it is domestic. And I feel I'll give him kudos. I think Silver's kind of and the team have. But I'm not saying they figured it out, but they're on the right track. And a couple tweaks here and there. I like LeBron going to Philly, and if this is his last year, in which he signed a 2-year deal,
I think
we'll
there's
see.
$8 million. Yes,
Give the man the proper farewell. Send him off right. But I kind of like the direction the league's heading, and again, to the original point, the quality of play during the playoffs was really good.
absolutely. So during the playoffs this year, we're going to take our first break. I'm going to refill that coffee cup and apparently switch to the diet donuts this morning. You are listening to the Nick Brown Show, the Nick Brown Show Network. We'll be right back after this break.
ProVision Security, preserving your past, protecting your future. Cameras, doorbell cameras, systems you can control all from your smartphone. Security systems with low monthly monitoring starting at $14.99. ProVision Security is more than security. Sound systems, hanging your flat screen TV, speakers in your ceiling, even Wi-Fi systems. ProVision Security, 314 East Georgia in Ruston. Call Michael at 773-3703. Check him out on Facebook, ProVision Security.
Hey guys, the gals aren't the only ones that care about their look. Let Adrian Russell or Dara Davis at La Bella Salon give you just the right hairstyle. Need a massage? Mamie Lee is their massage therapist and can work out those sore, tired muscles. Go ahead, schedule an appointment today. Call La Bella Salon 202-5848. La Bella Salon, 105 Reynolds Drive, next to Skip Russell State Farm in Ruston. What are you waiting for? Now's a great time to give them a call. La Bella Salon, 202-5848. Walk-ins welcome.
Looking for country style that hits like a classic anthem? Meet Chasing Luna Clothing Company. It's ultimate gear for rowdy nights and backyard bonfires. Before you look us up, remember one thing. There is no G in chasing, just CHASIN. That's pure, unfiltered country attitude. We've got graphic tees, premium caps, and rugged outerwear. It's built for the folks who live out loud. Grab your gear online today at chasingluna.com. That is CHASIN Luna.com. Nick Brown for All Hours Fitness Ruston. In Ruston, life doesn't stop at 5 o'clock, neither should your goals. Welcome to All Hours Fitness Ruston, your 24/7 destination for strength, health, and a better you. We've just grown. Enjoy over 15,000 square feet of premium equipment, outdoor training, and live classes. with our exclusive ladies-only area, cryotherapy, red light therapy, massage bed, and tanning. We've taken away every excuse. Locally owned, built for life. Join the family at All Hours Fitness Ruston today.
Friends, this is Skip Russell, your #1 insurance agent in Ruston for the past 42 years. I want you to know that I would be proud to be your insurance agent. Come by and check out our new lower rates on automobile insurance. Call us 255-5050 or come by our office at 105 Reynolds Drive in Ruston. That's behind Wendy's and Captain D's. Thank you.
When Brownie buys bourbon, it's at the Keg Package. Operating since 1972, the Keg Package has been serving the Ruston Grambling community for over 50 years. The Hightowers purchased the Keg in 2005 and built a new prime location in 2013 on the Tarbutton exit. They offer a wide variety of hard-to-find beer, wine, and liquor. They also have over 20 flavors of delicious frozen drinks. You can purchase Best Stop Boudin and sausage along with Louisiana Tech steaks. Come experience Divine Wine and the Keg Package.
Thanks for tuning into the Nick Brown Show. On the air, online, and free app.
No, I cannot.
Here we go. The mics are on. Let's go.
Welcome back to the Nick Brown Show. We're going to go straight to that text line. We've got FS texting in #1 son. RJ, what do you have on the text line?
Well, he's referring to the old Bama guy getting arrested, and he says most Bama fans have to pay for it if they can't get it from their cousins.
And the views of the most intelligent audience in all of sports radio do not reflect those.
It's a shame the
of
stream's down.
97.7. Love to hear from you at 888-993-7762. Again, that's the Origin Bank hotline and text line. I want to go to, first of all, the NBA. And we mentioned that we're going to jump into college football as well. And I still would like to know the ceiling for Arkansas Razorback football with Ryan Silverfield. Because you look, is 8-4, is 9-3. I mean, you go back to Houston Dale Nutt, you go back to all the years of Arkansas football. What is, and you need a guy that's going to have an attitude. You need to have someone that's going to be the aura that you speak of. It's going to take someone different to put the Arkansas Razorbacks into the, what is middle of the pack, the best they could do.
Are you talking about for this year?
I'm talking about.
Or long term?
Long term.
I think long term they've got the, I mean, like I said, they've got the resources. They've got the tools to be able to build that program back up. And I mean, you know, he's kind of got his own little recruiting to it. But I mean, last year when you go 2-10, it's going to take you some time. I think this year the ceiling, what do you think? If he goes 5-7, I think 5-7's.
I think 5-7's a banner year.
That's what I'm saying, and I think it's the ceiling. But I do think if he can have one breakout year like that, that will be huge for them recruiting.
Well, Hunter Yurachek doesn't really give Arkansas Razorbacks, like, it's not a great schedule. In fact, it's
and
one
he's
of the
already
toughest.
he's already making excuses for it because we talked about it a few weeks ago, going out to Utah and then having to turn around and play an early game against Georgia and basically making it sound like because of travel for a game that he scheduled that they're not going to be able to compete with Georgia. And like I just don't think that the travel and rest period is going to be the reason that Arkansas can't hang with Georgia this year.
Well, there are 133 teams in college football, 133. And then you look where the Arkansas Razorbacks come in as far as being ranked. It is, I mean, Vanderbilt's 34, Auburn's 39th, Kentucky 43, 44, I mean 59.
Well, okay, you also have to remember, for Arkansas fans here, you go 2-10 last year, you're playing in the SEC. You're not playing in some middle-of-the-road, like, league here. Like, you're playing in the SEC, so you can be a bad SEC team, and you're still a very good football team. Now, obviously, your record doesn't show up.
You're going to open with North Alabama. We're talking about the Arkansas Razorbacks. Open
so
with
it's a win.
North Alabama, they're 1-0. Then they travel to Utah.
I think that they'll pull that one off.
I think that's a loss, or 1-1.
You think so?
Then they host Georgia.
That's a loss.
1-2. Then they host Tulsa. They win that one. They're 2-2.
I will say I think they're either going to drop Utah or Tulsa. They're going to drop one of those.
So they're 2-2 after 4 games. Then they travel to College Station, Texas, 2-3. Then they host Tennessee, 2-4. They travel to Vanderbilt.
I think they could win that one.
I think they could win that one. That's one. And go to 3-5. Missouri. Could they win Missouri?
I think it's another toss-up.
It's in Fayetteville. They travel to the plains of Auburn. I think that's going to be a loss. They host South Carolina. That could be a win. At Texas is a loss. Hosting LSU is a loss. I mean, you look at the Auburn, Missouri, Vanderbilt game. South Carolina, that 4-game stretch could put them into a bowl game. South Carolina, Auburn, Missouri, Vanderbilt. Those 4 games, coupled with Tulsa and North Alabama, could be the 6 that they need. If they're going to win 6 games, it's going to happen on a 4-game win
I think
streak.
6 and 6 is realistic, but I think that if I was going to have to put money on it, just because Arkansas's recent trend, I would have to say 4-8.
4-8. Okay, they're the predictions. Love to hear your predictions on the Arkansas Razorbacks this year. ULM came in. I looked at the Sun Belt ranking, and that's where you look at 133 teams. Bryant Vincent certainly has his work cut out for him as the Warhawks coming in at 133rd in the country are the Warhawks. But I was looking through Lindy's, and Lynn Scarborough going to join us this morning at 9. And I'd love to hear from you at 888-993. Preacher guy. Then we'll have the cheer guys list as well. But I want to look at.
I want to move on from Arkansas just yet.
Okay, done.
You know what? I don't want to be the guy and say they were a good football team, because they weren't. But if you go back to last year's scores, I mean, losing to Memphis by 1, Tennessee by 3, Texas A&M by 3, Mississippi State by 3, LSU by 1. I mean, you just go down the list. They were right there. They just couldn't finish the game.
Yeah, and really the games that they should have been in are the ones that they lost pretty bad. I mean, they got beat pretty bad by Missouri, so right there at the end of the season. So I agree with RJ there. I think that you got to look at the scores from last year. They're right there, and if he can get that aura going, as he says at SEC Media Days, then we may be having a different discussion come mid-November, as maybe Arkansas is on a little tear there.
So
then another one. They lost by 6 to Ole Miss. So I mean, you're talking about just a couple of points, just one drive, one fumble, one interception, and they could have won.
I think that between the two of you, you now have the Razorbacks at 8-4, 9-3, and that is quite okay.
You know what?
But I think
they're going to win the Natty.
I think Silverfield's saying it. You got to get rid of the loser mentality of the program, and he outlined detailed plans to do that. And he even mentioned if we get Walmart involved, and I think that is a misnomer. Many people think that just because their name is on the field, they could always be more involved. He said if we get them involved, it's game over. And I think that's what you have to have. He had to win over the fan base. You're looking at a lot of the Arkansas Razorback fan base wanted Alex Golesh, who's on the plains at Auburn, to get that job. They were not excited that they got the coach from Memphis, but I think when you look at it now, ties to the Memphis recruiting area, the Memphis high school coaches, maybe if he can go into, and you've been to Memphis, you've actually played baseball in Memphis, if you can go into the Memphis fertile recruiting ground, let's say you get just one player to not go to Ole Miss, to not go to Mississippi State. You get 2 players to come to Arkansas. It can mean a world of difference, I think.
Well, and I think, and kind of like you said, getting rid of that loser mentality, I think that the way he's kind of come in, and I would venture to say that he's kind of been a bull in a china shop. Like, he's just kind of letting it go. And I think that is something that this younger generation that he's coaching now with his NIL is going to need. Like, they need someone to come in with that energy that's going to get rid of that loser mentality. I think if they go 2-0 to start the season, you'll know in the first half of the Georgia game how Arkansas is really going to be. If they can come out in that game and look like they've got some fire and they're not scared, I think that you could see Arkansas in a bowl game.
At what point in the season last year do you think the Arkansas players gave up? Because they went 2-10, and they won the first 2 games. So then they proceeded to drop everything from then on. So at
Notre
what
Dame,
point?
Notre Dame.
They were just.
I mean, let's see. You lose to Ole Miss by 6, and you still probably feel okay. You drop the one in Memphis by 1, and you kind of sit there and go, coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Should have won that game.
But then Notre Dame, 56-13. I think at that point it was just deflating on them. And then you got to turn around and play Tennessee. You lose a close one. I don't know how you bounce back after that.
All right, we're going to take a break, refill that coffee cup, come back. We'll talk a little this week in the Southland Conference. Just kidding. We're going to talk a little Southland. Yeah, we got a guy from the
I've been hammering you about it.
You have been. You've been wanting to talk a little Southland Conference. We got
Thank
Mr.
you.
Southland Conference here, so we're going to be right back with more of the Nick Brown Show, the Nick Brown Show Network, where the 8 o'clock hour brought to you by Adala Health PC. You need that physical? I have to go get my CDL physical. No, don't worry. I don't drive the bus, but I do keep the physical. You listen to the Nick Brown Show, the Nick Brown Show Network. We'll be right back.
Here's your weather forecast on this Saturday here on Sports Talk 97.7. Temperatures will rise just a little bit than they did yesterday. Look for a high of around 94 degrees under cloudy skies. We could see a stray shower or thunderstorm, but other than that, we should be in good shape. Low tonight of 75. Then for your Sunday, sunny along with a few afternoon clouds and hot with a high of 96. And then some clouds early will give way to generally clear conditions overnight with a low of 76.
Has your yard work and summer fun already put your back and neck in a bind? Bending, lifting, twisting puts additional tension and pressure on your back and neck. Once your muscles and nerves become inflamed, you start to feel the pain and stiffness, and no matter how many over-the-counter medications you take, it just won't go away. Well, it's time to call Dr. Bob Rendina at Chiro Network in Ruston. Chiropractic treatments work to get your back and neck working properly again. Play it smart. Stretch before and after. And when you need a chiropractor, call Dr. Bob Rendina at Chiro Network in Ruston.
Dr. Jonathan Weiler here with Rejuvenate Medical. You've taken control of your health, your hormones are optimized, but your progress has slowed and you feel like your results have plateaued. Rejuvenate Medical's peptide therapy is what comes next. We offer targeted support for recovery, performance, and body composition built around your labs and your goals. Experience better recovery, improved performance, and targeted results with peptides. Find out more at rejuvenatemedical.com.
You know what that sound means. It's time for the Pillowy Pluff Delicious Daylight Donut. Go visit them at 108 Monticello Avenue in Ruston, just north of I-20. They're open Monday, 5:30 to 10:30 a.m., Tuesday through Friday, 5:30 to 11:30 a.m., and on Saturday and Sunday from 6 to 12. Daylight Donuts of Ruston, proudly supporting the Nick Brown Show for the last 10 years. Ask for a wedding cake-filled donut. It's a Nick Brown Show favorite.
Hey, Jeff, looks like your business is really booming, even in a tough time for businesses like ours.
Hey, Mike. Yeah, thanks to LendSeek, our business was able to take care of some outstanding bills and taxes and to purchase inventory and expand our product lines.
Wow. You know, my business needs working capital, but only from a reputable company that I can trust and count on. How does LendSeek work?
Fast and easy. Just apply at lendseek.com. Their AI lending platform gave my business access to over 100 funding programs with one simple application, and it costs nothing to apply.
At lendseek.com, you can receive business funding with no collateral, no prepayment penalties, and no restrictions on how you use the funds. Whatever your funding needs are, seek no more. Our AI lending marketplace has you covered. If you've been in business at least 1 year with annual revenue of at least $250,000, you could get the funding your business needs in as little as 24 hours. There's no obligation, so apply today at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
Sports Talk, Southern Style, on the Nick Brown Show.
Welcome back. You hear that fight song for the first time ever on the Nick Brown Show?
I think so.
Win, Colonels, win. And with that, we bring in the RJ, waiting to take your text. The Nichols Colonels, little FCS football. Going through, you made your way down to Thibodaux. We're actually, Tabor has been asking for this week in the Southland. So we're going to have a Southland Conference.
And a ball cap.
Oh, yeah, I got you. I can take care of you
Awesome.
for that.
At least one to put up in here.
Can you tell me why you say Colonel when there's no R?
That's
Tell me.
one of the great mysteries in life. I
Yeah,
never understood
like, who
that
are the
either.
Colonels? Brett was like, Colonels? Who are the Colonels?
From Des Moines?
Yeah, from Des Moines. Who are the Colonels from Des Moines? You got to. I will tell you and bring them in after a 2-year baseball career at Hines Community College. And I told someone, if you can, there's tough, and then there's Raymond, Mississippi tough. But I think that was a special place to
Are
play.
you saying it added character? It built character.
He can tell you. I mean, air conditioner went out every week. But it's interesting because Cheer Guy's father-in-law, Paul Guerrero, actually played at Hines as well. What was it like playing baseball for Hines?
I mean, it was really fun. Like, don't get me wrong, but I mean, you see all your friends. You see all your friends like doing things on the weekends and during the week, and they have all these things that they're looking forward to. And not saying baseball is not something you don't look forward to. It's just baseball. Like that's all that's going in Raymond, Mississippi. You only have one gas station that's credible. You have a chicken place, which is inside the gas station, a hibachi place that, you never see stray dogs running around Raymond, so it's slightly concerning. And then you got a nail salon right next to that. And, of course, in good Ruston fashion, not an El Jar, but there is a Mexican restaurant. So I would definitely say it added character. You have to drive 30 minutes to go do anything. If you want to go eat like normal food or sit down and feel safe and keeping that in mind. I mean, it definitely toughened the skin a little bit.
But I think the beauty of it is you really did. Your GPA certainly improved. I mean, you're like a Phi Theta Kappa now because there wasn't that much to do in Raymond. So
yeah, I mean that is true. It is baseball and books is what you could call it. But I mean, anybody that's going to community college, it's not comparable to.
I need that on a shirt at Hines. Baseball and books.
That's it. And you know what? There's actually a golf course on Hines campus.
Books are bigger.
That's
left open for interpretation.
Maybe I need to go BBB.
Baseball,
that might
books,
be
beer.
Yeah, there we go.
I will tell you this: making our way to watch the Hines Eagles play. Have you seen A League of Their Own or Bull Durham?
Yes.
Remember the bus? Like they go play Pearl River. Pearl River has this nice bus wrapped. You go play Meridian. They're chartering. You see Jones. They got the JC bus. Not the old Hines Eagles. We're rolling like circa Bull Durham.
The Silver Bullet?
Yes. And I was like, you go. So
is that really what you guys traveled on? Silver
yes,
Bullet?
but the seats are so comfortable. Broken in. I mean, like, broken in might have a few stains on it. But the thing
you
is.
Just smell greatness when you step on the bus.
They didn't have the LED bulbs. They had light bars on the front of the bus. They had the cube lights from Harbor Freight as the headlights.
So this is Frankenbus. Like
it's awesome. It's awesome. I mean, it was a great experience.
And I tell you what, you made lifelong friends that you go through, and you did have a good coaching staff. You guys went through, and you had a very good year. And then you transfer. Now you look at the baseball progress. You had a lot of Division II scholarship offers. In fact, I know your mother didn't want you to, but I was leaning towards the one I really liked was Georgia College of Gwinnett, which is near the Gwinnett Stripers, which is AAA. Of course, I'm being selfish, looking out for me. I mean, you can go watch RJ play, then go watch the Gwinnett Stripers play, catch the Atlanta Braves. But 6.5 hours was a little bit too far away. But you seem to have found a home in the state of Louisiana, in the Southland Conference, with the Colonels of Nicholls State.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think when you make a decision like that, you just have to take into consideration like distance, and you also have to decide how bad do you want it. Just like when you go to different levels, it's like, what is this worth to you? what is it worth to you? And at a point, it came to me that it wasn't worth it for me to continue and play NAIA baseball or play Division II baseball because I just wasn't worth it to me. But no kid grows up and dreams and say, you know what, I can't wait to be an NAIA baseball player. I can't wait to be a Division II baseball player unless you live around a Division II program. I mean, every kid, you're thinking about making it to the major leagues, or you're thinking about playing Division I baseball. And with my dad being 5'8.5",
5'9", thank you very much.
Unless I had the complete Altuve transformation, I just the major leagues were not something that I didn't dream about. Major League Baseball, that was not something I was.
You're not knocking anybody that plays in AA ball or Division II. That just wasn't for you.
No, it just wasn't for me. And just whenever went to Nichols campus, and it was a very small town environment, which was very similar. Not a whole ton because of the population differences, but Thibodaux, Louisiana has a good community, and the coach told us, he said, if you come to Thibodaux, you come to Nichols campus, you don't just stumble across it. There's no major highway or interstate that drives straight through.
Yeah, you don't get lost going to Thibodaux.
No, you don't. No, you do get lost going to Thibodaux. You don't get lost and fall in Thibodaux is the thing. And
I had never visited Thibodaux in my entire life. I grew up, you Jerry Reed. We got the most intelligent audience in all of sports radio. Amos Moses, a song by Jerry Reed. So we're driving in on one of the bridges, so I Bluetooth that, and we listened to it. I think the kids heard it for the first time ever. But, man, I'll tell you what, the facilities at Nichols, and they are already breaking ground. You get a new turf, you get a new clubhouse, all these things. The facilities, I was surprised, a Southland Conference facility with the facilities of Nichols. I think they're excellent.
Well, when you have Manning Passing Academy that's doing it, they fund it very heavily. I don't know the exact numbers, but, every year the Manning family has the Manning Passing Academy, and they bring all these big quarterbacks from SEC programs all across the nation, and they all come down to Thibodaux. And it's just a way to display your skills. They build their knowledge, and so the Manning Passing Academy is something that's been great for Thibodaux and great for Nichols, and it reflects on the program. Like the football facilities are very nice. They have a indoor, like it's a very nice place down there, and I feel that's how a good bit of Southland schools are. Is they're backed by the community, because it's a small town school that the community pours into, and that's just it's a good environment.
Checking out, looking at and we got the Southland Conference. We'll look at the FCS football as well. Of course, we'll hear from Lynn Scarborough this morning at 9. Love your text on the Origin Bank hotline and text line 888-993-7762. Did not realize this. You're second smallest as far as enrollment. Houston Christian has 4,700 students. Nichols comes in at 6,400. So but there's beauty in that. You've used to that. You've been a small campus in Raymond, Mississippi, but it should be fun. But of all the things as a parent looking forward to, I've never been to Corpus Christi, so I'm gonna check the schedule and put my plan around going to Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Is there a game, a place you look forward to visiting most on the Nichols schedule?
On the Nichols schedule, I know it's not officially out yet, but I am really looking forward to being in Alex Box on the field. And I think I'm also really looking forward to being at
to the top.
No, not to the top. I can't wait to come back. The first midweek of the year is versus Louisiana Tech, and I just can't wait to, come back as, in the other dugout. And, of course, if anybody's ever looked up Southland baseball, UTRGV has an amazing facility. I think they play in a minor league stadium, and they pack it out because, once again, what is there to do around there?
Edinburgh, Texas, University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. Now, you mentioned that, so that'll be a February. It'll be really cold, but Tabor and I will be there, get the cheer guy to tag along to that. But for me, that is going to be something that if Nichols could defeat to the top, it will certainly be a great day at in our household. We're going to take our break. You listen to The Nick Brown Show on the Nick Brown Show Network. We'll be right back after this break.
Friends, this is Skip Russell, your #1 insurance agent in Ruston for the past 42 years. I want you to know that I would be proud to be your insurance agent. Come by and check out our new lower rates on automobile insurance. Call us at 255-5050 or come by our office at 105 Reynolds Drive in Ruston. That's behind Wendy's and Captain D's. Thank you.
I'm hashing over an ethical dilemma, so I think I could use some black coffee.
Of course, you can get black coffee and all your favorite coffee beverages at the Depot Coffee Shop. The Depot Coffee Shop is located at 211 West Railroad Avenue in downtown Ruston. The Depot Coffee Shop is coffee with a cause. The Depot Coffee Shop is open Monday through Thursday from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. and on Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Saturdays from 8 to 3. Call in your order at 232-7084 or visit the Depot Coffee Shop.
Has your yard work and summer fun already put your back and neck in a bind? Bending, lifting, twisting puts additional tension and pressure on your back and neck. Once your muscles and nerves become inflamed, you start to feel the pain and stiffness, and no matter how many over-the-counter medications you take, it just won't go away. Well, it's time to call Dr. Bob Rendina at Chiro Network in Ruston. Chiropractic treatments work to get your back and neck working properly again. Play it smart. Stretch before and after. And when you need a chiropractor, call Dr. Bob Rendina at Chiro Network in Ruston.
North Louisiana's favorite rodeo is back. It's the Mount Olive Christian School Rodeo this Friday and Saturday night in Athens. The world-class voice of announcer Andy Stewart will be on the mic for all your favorite events. Bareback riding, steer wrestling, calf roping, barrel racing, and bull riding. And much, much more. Laugh it up to everyone's favorite rodeo clown, Rudy Burns. See the world-famous musical chairs on horseback. Tickets $10 at the gate or 8 in advance at Patton's Western Wear in Ruston, GBT in Athens, the Crossroads Store in Athens, or the Arena in Athens. Presented by Bayou Kubota in Ruston, Monroe, Natchitoches, Future City. 8 seconds of action, a lifetime of memories.
A new dawn is on the horizon. 12 Saturdays, 8 Sunbelt Conference games. The anticipation is at an all-time high, and the Gridiron Dogs are ready to feast. The 2026 Louisiana Tech football season begins on Big Z Country, Z107.5, on September 5th at Joe IA Stadium against Northwestern State. The Bulldogs are looking to ride the momentum of last year's 8-win bowl championship season in their inaugural Sunbelt year. Listen to every snap starting September 5th on Big Z Country, Z107.5.
Get in the game. Now, back to the Nick Brown Show.
Welcome. To RJ, you had some text roll in?
Yes. Quint said, what a foreign concept, a brown liking Louisiana.
Nice, Quint. Good job.
One of you got it right.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Because to say that Tabor says that I hate Louisiana. Okay, I'm going to surprise you. You're going to go back, and I will surprise you looking through all of the SEC media days. September 19th, I will be in New Orleans watching Carr and the Ruston Bearcats play. I have already talked to your mother. You can drive up from Thibodaux or down across. I'm geographically challenged. I told her that we are not driving back after the game. We will do the radio. We're not allowed to stream. We'll do the radio. And when the fourth quarter, the horn blows, get an interview with head coach Terry Ball. And then immediately I'm packing the kid up, leaving it with Carswell and Kyle Roberts. And I am going to a watering hole to watch the game. Now, Cheer Guy and I, by the way, Cheer Guy goes to New Orleans, goes all around the great Cajun food, gets a hamburger.
You're going to keep bringing this up. The lady suggested it.
But we made the block. Like, we were at a great restaurant, Mulat's. We made the block, went through everything. So if I stay in the Big Easy, then I'm probably going to go to Manning's to watch a game. There's a thought of me, and the Cabbage is going to be upset. He's going to be in trouble for sleeping in this morning. What if I'd go back to Hammond? But if you're going to make your way over, you would be closer to us in New Orleans than Hammond. So probably,
And if you try to go to Hammond, you're going to miss kickoff.
yeah, I think so. So I think if you go with that. But I will be watching that. My whole point was, I think the winner of that game, I think, is in the running. I think the LSU could surprise people. Enough talent to make a serious run for the national title. There is talent in Baton Rouge. I think, now you say, wait a minute, Lane Kiffin year one, I think year one and year two is the best. I think you look across the landscape of the league, looking ranked quarterbacks. That should be you got a great list. You need to find an inspirational words because the cheer guy is not here. There, I gave you a heads up. I need inspirational quote from you, and I need a list from you. But when I make my list, I look at the top quarterbacks in the SEC. Now, I know you're looking for a piece of paper. I don't have to look at a piece of paper. Top quarterbacks in the SEC this year. I missed
Trinidad.
one. I had a listener that,
Yeah, that was
we
easy.
were talking.
One of one.
Lenore Sellers would be you coming back from injury. I'm going to put Brown from Auburn. Quint, turn your radio off. I think Byron Brown is going to be a sleeper quarterback in the SEC. Okay? There's two.
I think I could put on an Auburn
Trinidad-
uniform as quarterback, and you'd say that.
I'm going to tell you what.
Million percent.
First of all, glad to see that denial ain't a river and you got a haircut. You're almost there. You mentioned if you got him a Nichols cap, you'd have to get double extra large here for the 5 head I'm looking at this morning. But here's the thing.
Those go by numbers.
Trinidad Chambliss and Arch Manning are my top 2 quarterbacks in the league. Okay, Marcel Terry over at Texas A&M. Man, if he could get some blocking behind him, Mateer at Oklahoma, you go through Sellers. How does he come back from the injury? But your top 5 quarterbacks in the SEC. But Arch Manning and Trinidad Chambliss are 1, 2, and then you look at LSU's quarterback. Absolutely, you put that. I think LSU. Do you even know who LSU's quarterback is?
Sam Levitt.
Yeah.
Also, you're not going to put Gunnar Stockton in this?
I am. You didn't let me finish. Arch Manning's number 1. Trinidad Chambliss is number 2. Sam Levitt's number 3. Gunnar Stockton's number 4. 5, you're going to come in with a tie. You got Mateer, but also I'm going to put in Byron Brown with an asterisk, Lenore Sellers with an asterisk to watch. But I think with Sam Levitt, I think LSU has enough firepower to compete for the national title this year.
I think they have enough firepower, but also I think you can make an argument that almost everyone in the SEC has enough firepower to compete for a national championship.
Go to LSU's schedule.
All right, I'm there.
All right, let's go through week 1.
Clemson.
I'm going to go with, what do you think, Mr. You like Mr. Louisiana now, so you're probably going to, where's the game?
I think that's one of those neutral sites, isn't it? Isn't it a kickoff game? We'll look it up real quick.
Look that up. Hold, please.
LSU Clemson is.
While you look
it
that
is
up,
at Tiger Stadium.
While you look that up, how many times? I mean, I'm gonna go back to this, and I'm gonna back you on this. How many times do you go into a restaurant and you say, "What would you get?" And then they recommend something, and then you say, "Oh no, I'm not gonna have that."
I think it's because your dad is he's feeling attacked.
Yeah,
he's not running the floor right now, and so he just has to dish it out a little bit.
Okay, number 1, I do like people's opinions. Number 2, you'll probably make the trip over from Thibodaux to Baton Rouge to be at that game. So who is going to win a battle of the Tigers in the number 2 Death Valley? And I say that for you LSU fans because Clemson was named first. Frank Howard, Howard's Rock from Walker Springs, Alabama. Who's going to win the LSU-Clemson game? I got LSU winning Lane over little old Clemson and Dabo. 1-0 for the Bayou Bengals.
I think I'll take LSU since it's in Baton Rouge. I'll take LSU. I think neutral site I would give the edge to Clemson, but since it's in Baton Rouge, I'll give it to LSU.
Okay, 1-0, week 2.
Louisiana Tech.
2-0.
2-0.
At Ole Miss.
That's it. I think you look now, I think the epicenter of college football, the game of the year, September 19th, all eyes will be on Vaught Hemingway Stadium.
Okay, so let's, before
Wait. You know what? Here's the thing. The question is RJ going to pull a Joe Brown and call his cousin and go visit that weekend?
If I'm off from baseball, I will be in the vicinity. I don't think that I will make it into the stadium because of the prices. Like, I just don't think that I'm going to be able to justify a whole month and a half of money that I have, like, put aside for one game. And then,
but you would go to Oxford to be in the environment.
1,000,000%.
Would you wear purple and gold?
I'm a Nichols Colonel.
I like that answer.
Good answer. Okay, so, all right. Let's say they stump their toe on that one, and that goes to Pete Gold and the Ole Miss Rebels. LSU is 2-1 on the year.
Okay, I think if they lose that game, this will be the deciding factor in the season.
Like a landslide down.
Next week, Texas A&M.
Elko and company, no match for the Bayou Bengals. Is that in College Station or Baton Rouge?
It is in Baton Rouge.
3-1 on the season for the Fighting Lane Kiffins.
Okay, I think if they lose Ole Miss and Texas A&M, I think it's going to start to be probably.
All right, so I got them at 3-1. Who's next?
McNeese.
4-1. Southland Conference.
At Kentucky.
5-1.
Mississippi State.
6-1.
At Auburn.
6-2. Not 7-1. 7-1.
Alabama.
Where?
Death Valley.
I think LSU wins that one. 8-1.
I think they lose it.
Texas.
Hook 'em Horns in Austin.
It is in Baton Rouge.
All right, 50-50, go 8-2. They dropped out. They dropped one of the Alabama or Texas.
At Tennessee.
9-2.
At Arkansas.
10-2. 10-2, they're in the playoffs.
I don't think this is going to happen, Nick. I really don't.
9-3 is my 9-3. I think
9-3, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. If at the end of the season we're sitting here talking about an 8-4 in LSU, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, but I will say, if they go 9-3 or 8-4, I think LSU fans are really. I'm going to call LSU fans out for a second. They're really bad about thinking that the sky is falling. I think that if you give Kiffin 2 to 3 years, I do think that he brings the national championship back to Louisiana. But I don't think it's happened in year one. I just don't think that you can go from. I don't think you're bouncing back from 7-6 to make it to the playoffs the next season. And I could be wrong. And, Nick will tell us immediately as soon as we are wrong. But I just don't see it happening this year.
I'm looking over the Nicholls State football schedule, and I'm really disappointed that, instead of checking out the September 19th game with Sam Houston, which will be in Huntsville, Texas, okay, you have an excuse to go on the road. But looking up the Colonel's record schedule for the year, you have a little Mississippi Valley State in Thibodaux. They go into Kansas State. You got Lamar coming to town, Stephen F. Austin, East Texas, and Southeastern. So that'll be your good one, November 19th. We'd love to hear from you at 888-993-7762. We still have inspirational words from RJ this morning, filling in for the Preacher Man. Cheer Guys list. Our bourbon of the month. You don't want to miss that. It is a great pour. You listen to The Nick Brown Show, the Nick Brown Show Network. We'll be right back after this break.
This is Brandon Kraft, General Manager at Homes Plus. Are you tired of your rent going up or paying someone else's bills? At Homes Plus, we are North Louisiana's land and home specialist, so come in and see us today so that we can show you how to own for less than renting.
Get the plus, Homes Plus.
There's a lot of options out there for testosterone, and some are legit and some aren't. If you're injecting something into your body, you need to feel comfortable with your provider. At Rejuvame, it's their job to make sure you're comfortable every step of the way. Rejuvame's nurse practitioner will make recommendations based on your testosterone levels. It's not a one-size-fits-all process. Rejuvame partners with you to do it right. Rejuvi Medical, not just online, they are down the street. RejuvameMedical.com. That's REJUVIME Medical.com.
Sexton Animal Health Center in Ruston serves your pet and you, providing high-quality pet health and wellness services to assist your pet in living a longer, happier, and healthier life, and providing you with access to leading-edge products, services, and educational content to enhance the bond with your pet. Sexton Animal Health Center is a full-service veterinary medical facility, providing the best possible medical, surgical, digital radiology, and dental care for their patients. And ask about pet daycare and boarding, too. Sexton Animal Health Center, 1628 East Kentucky in Ruston. Become a friend on Facebook to receive the latest news and updates.
Don't let concerns about current events derail your long-term financial strategy. Hi, I'm Edward Jones, financial advisor Jeremy Hebert, and I'm here to help. We can work together to understand today's financial landscape and make sure you achieve your goals. While you can't control market volatility, you can control your financial future. Let's connect. Start by giving me a call at 318-251-9200.
Member SIPC.
Okay, so clearly the word is out about Country Pleasin' sausage. Thank you for helping make Country Pleasin' your go-to sausage on game day. From original to jalapeno and cheese, black pepper cheddar, even crawfish and pork, we can't get enough at Sports Talk 97.7, and it seems like you can't either. Check for Country Pleasin' at your local retailer, and for additional flavors, check them out at countrypleasin.com. That's countrypleasin.com.
I'm hashing over an ethical dilemma, so I think I could use some black coffee.
Of course, you can get black coffee and all your favorite coffee beverages at the Depot Coffee Shop. The Depot Coffee Shop is located at 211 West Railroad Avenue in downtown Ruston. The Depot Coffee Shop is coffee with a cause. The Depot Coffee Shop is open Monday through Thursday from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. and on Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Saturdays from 8 to 3. Call in your order at 232-7084 or visit the Depot Coffee Shop.
Saturday morning, sports and the Nick Brown Show. You can't beat it.
Welcome back to the Nick Brown Show, the Nick Brown Show Network. You hear that fight song? That means we're going to the first inductee in the Rock Creek, Alabama Hall of Fame, Lynn Scarborough from Lindy's Magazine. Congratulations on your induction.
Yeah, I'm sorry you couldn't have been there for the ceremony. I mean, we had, as special request of the family, we had fried greens and tomatoes and fried okra, and wish you could have been there.
You know, absolutely. Lynn, talking about this morning, I want to pick your brain on a few things because obviously originating in the state of Louisiana, and because Tabor always says that I hate Louisiana, and my son RJ is in the studio with us today. He'll be playing baseball at Nichols State down in Thibodaux, Louisiana. I was looking.
Hey, RJ, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey, great, man. Congratulations. That's a great move by you and by Nichols, and that'll be a program I'm following a lot closer than I ever have before.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
And good to talk to you.
I've been looking at the schedule for LSU, and I know that the epicenter of college football is going to be September 19th in Vaught-Hemingway Stadium. It goes back to, I think, the biggest game in the state of Mississippi, going back to when you had Mullen and Ole Miss and Mississippi State 1 and 2 in the country. You go back, and now this game, September 19th. But I'm looking over the schedule, and I know that you know Clemson. People really don't understand how much college football you know and how much studying that you do. The opening with Clemson, I'm looking at LSU's schedule. And I know they have a game with Auburn. I know how tough the SEC is. Lynn, is this a year where you see LSU could pull out a 10-2, 9-3, make their way into the playoffs? I think they're that good. I said 10-2, and these guys laughed me out of my own radio show.
No, I agree with you. I think they could. I also think they could lose to Clemson and Ole Miss. It's a, we've got a lot of teams that are kind of bunched together. LSU being one of those on the upper end. But yeah, I think that could happen. I also think they can come to Auburn and lose. Hey, in fact, LSU and Auburn are kind of in a unusual place, similar in that they're counting on a good quarterback transferring into the program. And I think how LSU does is, in some degree, going to depend on the quarterback play. They got an outstanding quarterback coming into the program. So does Auburn. So does several schools in the conference are going to be dependent on transfer quarterbacks.
Talking with Lynn Scarborough from Lindy's Magazine. And I mentioned that. You look at the top 5, of course, they're ranked in Lindy's Magazine as well. Just a great publication. Again, the National Edition or the Southeastern Edition. If you're only going to get one, I would say get the National Edition. But I looked at the quarterback play in the SEC with the fact you Trinidad Chambliss, Arch Manning, Sam Levitt that you mentioned. But I think that Byron Brown from Auburn, and I know Quint, not an Auburn show, I'm just telling you, going back what he was able to do at South Florida, how he was able to play against Power 4 opponents, I think that could really not move Auburn up into the upper echelon, but at least move it up into a winning season, something the Tigers haven't had since, what, Gus Malzahn's days?
Yeah, I was not going to bring this up, but there was a ranking of SEC quarterbacks that came out the first part of this week based on performance, statistics, and performance that they have had during their college career. And the number one quarterback in the SEC was Byron Brown from Auburn. I'm not saying it's going to end up that way, and I honestly was not going to mention it. But there was a ranking, independent, had nothing to do with Auburn or the Nick Brown show, and it ranked him as the most talented quarterback in the conference. So I mean, yeah, it could be, but LSU's in a similar position. I mean that he wasn't as highly ranked as Byron Brown, but Trinidad Chambliss was second behind Byron Brown. I tell you another thing that caught me of interest. I always compare things to how Lindy's editors rank our ranked teams. We have Texas number 1 in the league and Georgia number 2. SEC Media Days ranked Georgia from Texas at number 2 to Ole Miss at number 3. So you got some real breakouts here. You got Georgia and Texas, everybody else, and then you've got between Ole Miss and Oklahoma at number 7, number 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. There's only 90 points in that poll separate all of those guys. So you've got a pretty much a consensus that Georgia and Texas or vice versa most likely teams are playing in the championship. But then, Ole Miss, LSU, A&M, Alabama, Oklahoma, all those guys are within 90 points of each other. Out of 2,500 votes, only 9 points separate all of those.
Well, Lynn, as we're talking about all the SEC schools, is the SEC leaving the NCAA at any time soon?
Well, I hope not. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I hear people that want that to happen, but I don't see any sense in that. And I mean, maybe if they were running away with everything, but where have the last 3 national championships come from?
Big Ten.
Now, why would the SEC leave unless it's out of embarrassment? I mean, there would be no value that I can see in the SEC leaving the conference. I hope anybody that's saying that seriously will reevaluate. That would be a terrible move for the SEC in this opinion, in my opinion.
Talking with Lynn Scarborough from Lindy's Magazine on the Nick Brown Show today. And I just going through Lindy's Magazine, and I think it is if you don't have it, you can go to Lindy's website, 2 S's in the middle, LindySports.com. But you talk about the SEC and the Big Ten winning the national championship the last 3 years, and you talk about all the ranks of the teams. Lindy's doesn't feel like this is going to be the year for the SEC to win the championship again.
No, I'm going with the Big Ten. Oregon, although it rubs me the wrong way, I'm not used to calling Oregon in the Big Ten. But anyway, we pick Oregon number 1 And I believe, again, I don't have it in front of me, but I believe we picked the national championship game to be Oregon and Texas.
Talking with Lynn Scarborough. Lynn, of course, you're in the state of Alabama on the lovely shores of Lake Martin. And to our listeners in Louisiana and those listening, we have listeners in Arkansas and in the state of Mississippi. I read this with one thing that you guys do. It's a great job. And there's two things I want to pick your brain on. One, you look at the national championship since the late Skip Holtz won a national title at Notre Dame. Is it time for Notre Dame to enter a conference? Then I read the temperature check on the coaches on the hot seat. And, you know, it's easy to go Mike Norvell at Florida State, Luke Fickell at Wisconsin, Mike Locksley at Maryland, which we wonder what the ceiling is for Terrapin football, Dave Aranda at Baylor, Shane Beamer at South Carolina. And you know, I look at Shane Beamer and the job, how tough a job it is. I relate that to he's the editor is an Alabama graduate. You took law school classes for at least a semester. Kalen DeBoer, do you really think that there is a semi-warm seat in Tuscaloosa?
Yeah, but only because it's Alabama. And I'm just giving what I think is an objective opinion. You're not going to fire, of course, Ohio State did it, but you're not going to fire a coach that's teams. You go 9-4, play in a bowl, be a contender. You're probably not going to get fired. But Alabama feels like they're insulted when their team loses four games. A lot of Alabama folks feel entitled to win ball games when maybe. But yeah, I think that DeBoer, with the record he's got, and yeah, it's not up to Nick Saban, but I mean, who would it be? It's a difficult thing to follow a banner coach. I mean, look at Penn State. You know, after Joe Paterno left, you know that wasn't a bad record after that, but he's now coaching at Virginia Tech, and you've had a lot of occasions where a coach is graded, considered according to the guy that was in front of him that came first. And I think this is the case here. Alabama kind of feels entitled. Their fans do. And then they've lost 4 ball games. Had another couple that they could have lost. And I think that they don't need to start out by losing this season and get the fan base against it.
Well, you go back. I look at Kalen DeBoer. They lost to Oklahoma. Alabama lost to Oklahoma during the regular season, but then defeated Oklahoma in the playoffs. But I think really the bitter pill for Alabama fans would be non-competitive in the SEC championship game, losing to Georgia by 3 touchdowns, and then totally being humiliated by Indiana in the Rose Bowl, losing that one 38-3. I think when you look at, and you mentioned any other school other than Alabama, I don't think it's just the fact that they lost. I think it's the games that they did lose and the manner in which they lost them. They were never really in those contests.
No, and here's the deal. You look at it historically. Alabama, I mean, I think anybody could concede that Alabama's in the top 10 programs all time in college football. They think they're number 1. I think they're 5th or 6th if you look at it by the winning percentage and that type of thing. But still, 5th or 6th out of 130 teams, that's right at the top of the program. Going into the last 2 seasons, the lowest percentage winning team in the country, the worst historical program ever, Indiana Hoosiers. So Alabama, by some feelings, the top program ever, is playing against the worst program ever, and they get massacred 38-3. So I do agree with you. I think that in some way, it's not just who they lost to, but it's the manner in which they lost. It's almost like they kind of threw in the towel, and that really has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
Hey, and Lynn, we've been talking this morning about SEC football a little bit, and looking at Arkansas and Ryan Silverfield, what realistically do you think would be your expectations for the Razorbacks this season?
Probably win 4 games.
We had 5, so I think that's pretty close to what we had too.
Yeah, I think they'll win probably 4 games. I would say this: it would be more likely that they would lose fewer than that they would win more than that. And it's going to be a tough situation. I think Mississippi State kind of in the same boat. I'd look at them a little bit higher than I would Arkansas, but it's kind of the same boat. I tell you, the way that the media voted them, Preacher Man, I did not. I think that they had Oklahoma probably too high. I think that you got Florida. I'm not sold on Florida. I'm not sold on Missouri. I think Tennessee at 8, maybe a little low. I think a little more Tennessee than the SEC media did overall. And I would not have put Florida and Missouri right in there with the same category with Tennessee. I honestly am not sure that I put them ahead of it. They got ahead of South Carolina and Auburn. I think South Carolina probably is a little bit high as well. I would probably have put Tennessee maybe 7th in the league. I probably would have put Auburn maybe 8th. I would have put South Carolina probably in the bottom group, although I'm still sold on their quarterback. And they give Vanderbilt very little credit for bringing in the top quarterback in the SEC, was brought in the SEC, and the best quarterback rating-wise that Vanderbilt ever had. You don't have Vanderbilt players and fans that are going out saying, "Oh, good, let's try to keep it closer than 4 touchdowns." And I think the last 2 seasons for Vanderbilt were not given much credit by the SEC voters.
I know that you were unable to go to SEC Media Days this year, and I conversed with you while Cheer Guy and I were at the Sunbelt Media Days, and I will tell you, the Sunbelt Media Days were what the SEC Media Days used to be. And so I know that you would have enjoyed the Sunbelt Conference Media Days down in New Orleans, the access. And I know, and our listeners, they're intelligent. They're going, well, wait a minute, Brownie, the Sunbelt is not the SEC. You know what, Lynn? I think that is a good thing. I know that you and I love the SEC, but, you can't get too big for your britches. Say, no, we're going to leave the NCAA. So there have been, all of this growth is great, and that's been wonderful, and you pack the stadiums. But there are some times where I think you need a dose of reality, and hopefully maybe the Big Ten winning 3 championships in a row, and even if Oregon were able to win it this year, maybe bring the conference somewhat back down to earth.
I hope so. The days of how SEC Media Days used to be, what a fun memory that is to those of us who were able to do that. And 12, 15 years ago, I was going to the Mountain West Media Days every year because we had the only Mountain West magazine that's ever been done. And I remember back then it was similar. I was standing in line to get food, not with some guy with Billy Bob's blog, but with a guy that's a head coach at a conference team. And it was really nice for it to be that way. And it used to be that way in the 80s and 90s. It was more that way with the SEC, and it's a fond memory for those of us elderly guys that had the privilege to be able to work the conference.
Well, now it's interesting. And talking with Lynn Scarborough from Lindy's Magazine, Lynn, it used to be what I got out of the Sun Belt. They were certainly glad that you attended, glad that I was there, glad that the Cheer Guy, glad that we were both there. You go to the SEC Media Day, one of my fondest memories of SEC Media Day. They pull the buses up to the Winfrey Hotel at the Galleria. And, of course, like blind sheep, I'm like, you know what, I'll get on a bus and go. Where are we going? And that Rachel, you know her, she's an Auburn graduate. I can't even remember her last name. She's like, we're going to a barbecue at the Hoover Met. And so we go, and I get to the Hoover Met, and then this long line. And I'm like, okay, I'll be another blind sheep. What are we in line for after I waited for 20? Oh, we're going to talk to Emmitt Smith. Lynn, I stopped, and I finally got my turn to have your picture made with Emmitt Smith. And I said, hey, how close were you to becoming an Auburn Tiger? And he kind of looked at me, and I said, what was Joe Witt. I said, Joe, I thought Joe Witt was going to bring you home. When I brought up the name of Joe Witt, he stopped the entire conversation. And really, everybody in line was cussing me because he had a 25-minute conversation with me while these people were waiting, because I told him, I said, I actually won $20 in college off of you. I made a wager that you wouldn't get 80 yards and that you guys would lose to Auburn. And we went on that game. He ended up with 78 yards that night. But I had one-on-one Emmitt Smith, and then I went to leave. He goes, hey, you didn't get a picture. And so I came back. So somewhere there's a picture of me with Emmitt Smith. But those days are really are gone. You know what I mean? So you're just like, hey, here you come in. there's really, other than the fact that it would be great to take the family to Tampa, and I think if they have it in Tampa again, that might be a Brown road trip. But they give everything to you digitally. There's no reason for you to actually go, and I think they want it that way.
They might. I think they would like it to be, record attendance, but that's not as important anymore as the business of the chambers of commerce of the major cities, and it's almost, it's just the money and the exposure in the major markets are more important than what those things used to be. Hey, now you didn't tell me. Did Emmett acknowledge that he almost went to Auburn?
Oh, absolutely, he did.
Okay.
Yes.
I just didn't know if he looking back of course you and I both have talked to Max Howell about that. I don't know if Max would be listening to us today, but Max was a position coach and was a high school coach at Emmett High School, and so he gave us the insight on that recruiting situation. I just wondered if Emmett validated what Max had told us.
Well, absolutely. Well, what in the world is it? Finally, you can rest a little bit. You're getting ready. You and Cindy, you've got your season tickets for college football. You're ready. So just resting at Lake Martin today, hopefully.
I got the entire Atlantic Coast Conference last night. I got up until yesterday afternoon. I got all of the quote minor conferences, as you and I've talked on the air and off before. Our national college and our national college basketball, football and basketball, have all the teams. So I've got, 30. I've got about 50 pages of, I'm going to call it small college basketball, the SWAC and the MEAC and those guys. And then I've got the Atlantic Coast Conference. And all of those need to be finished editing and taken to our office by Sunday afternoon so we can start doing the actual editing layouts on those by Monday. Sean O'Neill will be in town during the next week for us to get started on college basketball. So unfortunately, no, I will not be on the lake today or tomorrow. I will be editing college basketball.
All right. So will you and Cindy be going to ball games this year?
Yeah, I mean, that's still it. My health situation is, people in the audience that listen to us a lot know what that is, and I think I've got to be prudent about what I do. I certainly will be attending some games, and we'll talk on and off the air about that stuff when we get closer to the season.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you on the air because I know that you are in your man cave across the way where you don't have great cell reception, and so I get concerned about you. So I'll call you, and then like 8 hours later, I'll hear back from you. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you that I need you to start looking for 4 from me for Auburn and Tennessee.
Thought it was 5.
It was 5, but I was just not going to be greedy. But yes, 5.
Oh, well, do you actually need 5, or now has it decreased that you just need 4?
Well, I don't know what their baseball schedule is going to be in Thibodaux, but let's stick with 5.
Okay. I mean, I can't guarantee you I can find 1.
Oh,
but
Lynn, wait a minute. Look, you're being nice. We're on the air. If I asked you for a ticket to Ella Langley in Neville Arena, you would find a way. Like in the course of this 20-year friendship where you were so rude to me that I can't even believe I continued this relationship, how mean you were to me at the SEC baseball tournament, that I still attempted to be your friend, you have not once ever said, hey, sorry, couldn't find a ticket, ever.
You got an extra minute to talk about Ella Langley?
Yeah, I do. I think she's phenomenal.
Oh, she is phenomenal. A guy named John Sewell, who you have met at our tailgates before in Auburn, and he's been on the road with me some over the years. John called me. He and his wife are going to be having their 50th wedding anniversary coming up the weekend when Ella's going to be at Auburn.
28th and 29th of August.
And he called me and said, can you find me tickets to Ella Langley? I can't find anything. Well, I found out that the truth was he could find some, but the least expensive tickets that he could find were about $900 a pair. So I started making my contacts to Ticket City, and then somebody at Auburn, and I've found some tickets, but this is not. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get them for Nick, because I'm somewhere up in the $300 to $400 per ticket range for Ella Langley. When she was coming up as an Auburn student and growing up out on Pike Road out in Montgomery, I doubt that she ever foresaw that she would be coming back to her alma mater. I'm glad to be there, and find out that somebody had to pay almost $1,000 to come see her at Auburn. So I am in the process right now of trying to find some Ella Langley tickets, but I'm afraid the ones I found and the ones I'm going to be able to find may be too high for him to pay. If so, are you interested in tickets that high?
You know it's crazy. I thought here's the crazy thing. I thought you were going to say John Sewell, whom I met. I thought you were going to say that's your grandfather, and I was going to say, oh, how about an autographed picture for Tabor? But here's the thing, that is absolutely incredible. We will actually talk off the air August 28th and 29th, I think, to the top. Southern Miss brother is going to try and go to Neville Arena to the concert. And then I'm looking for a parking pass. I'll go ahead and say all our business on the air. We're a family show. He's looking for a parking pass because he is going to come to the Auburn Southern Miss game. And here's what's going to happen. Auburn is going to defeat Southern Miss. He's going to be in a very bad mood. So if you could find me a parking pass for the Golden Eagles so here's what I need. Parking pass for Auburn Southern Miss and 5 tickets to Auburn, Tennessee.
Okay, so you left Ella out of there.
Well,
okay.
He would like Ella tickets, but I'm not going to push my luck on that.
Well, let's put a comparison to it for Auburn facilities and the fan base that you know so well. Is that she's going to have 2 concerts, both at Neville, and so let's just say that she's going to have 20,000 people there. They had 4 times that many, 88,000, right across the street when Iceland played soccer. So no wonder that it's a hard ticket for Ella coming back to Auburn if they put 88,000 people in to watch Iceland play soccer.
Absolutely incredible. I will be in touch with you. Get off the phone with me. Tell Cindy hello from all of us on the Nick Brown Show, and I look forward to talking to you again next week. But good luck with editing basketball today.
All right, man. Talk to y'all soon.
That was Lynn Scarborough from Lindy's Magazine. I will tell you, he's going to say that. Cheer guy, like, if they're tickets, he finds them.
Oh, I was about to say, I feel like Lynn's going to send you a text in like 30 minutes of, hey, I found them if you want them.
He found everything. You go to the College World Series at Omaha, you go through, it doesn't matter. But I would like, his tickets are going to be a little better than the ones that you find on StubHub. Like when Lynn makes a call, your $400 ticket you get from Lynn is not going to be equivalent to the $400 ticket that you find online. And, he is getting older. He's battling cancer. Through that, he doesn't stop. He doesn't stop at all, and he goes through. So keep Lynn in your thoughts and prayers, and look forward to having him every Saturday. I want to get back to the text line because RJ kind of dropped the ball a little bit. Text had to be LSU Andy. He said, RJ, I'm a Hines alumni. Played soccer. I lived in Clinton, so I commuted every day. Go Eagles. Need to go to the bank in Clinton, Mississippi if you're ever there. Matthew chiming in. Nicholas. Nobody has seen Trinidad Chambliss play without Kiffin and or Charlie Weiss Jr. calling the plays. We're about to see how good he really is. You might have him ranked a little too high.
Or did Chambliss make them look a lot better? You never know.
Ray Baby chiming in. Nick, if Arch Manning is your pick as the number 1 quarterback in the SEC, that tells me it is a very weak quarterback class in the league this year.
Okay,
that's yeah.
When you said that earlier, I think you probably saw me about to say something. When you picked him at 1, I was shocked, and I know that everybody, he's in the Heisman running, all that, and I'm not saying that he's not good. I'm really not, but I do think that because of his last name, he's had a little bit extra hype around him.
I've got one simple question: Who's better?
I think in the SEC,
yeah.
I would put Chambliss above him. And I'm not saying to drop Manning down to like 5 or 6. I'm definitely not saying that.
I think Levitt could have a better season. Sellers could finally put it all together. You never know. Gunnar Stockton might go off. You never know. But I think.
And I will say, I kind of feel like the SEC quarterback situation this year I think that's going to be fun to watch.
I think it is. But Matthew, answering your question before we go to break.
I feel like we've got. I don't think there's a 10 in the room, but
There's a
I
lot
think
of eights.
there's a lot of eights.
Yeah, and I feel like
agree.
it's very even kind of across the board. You know, there's some definitely better guys and stuff, but I think that
literally week to week, who played better this
I
week?
wouldn't say there's anyone that it's like just that's exactly number one.
All right, we come back. I'm going to refill that coffee cup. You do the same thing. We're going to have a list from the cheer guy, our bourbon of the month, and I'm going to go after Matthew, the new offensive coordinator for the Ole Miss Rebels. You're listening to the Nick Brown Show on the Nick Brown Show Network. We'll be right back.
ProVision Security, preserving your past, protecting your future. Cameras, doorbell cameras, systems you can control all from your smartphone. Security systems with low monthly monitoring starting at $14.99. ProVision Security is more than security. Sound systems, hanging your flat screen TV, speakers in your ceiling, even Wi-Fi systems. ProVision Security, 314 East Georgia in Ruston. Call Michael at 773-3703. Check him out on Facebook. ProVision Security.
Hey guys, the gals aren't the only ones that care about their look. Let Adrian Russell or Dara Davis at La Bella Salon give you just the right hairstyle. Need a massage? Mamie Lee is their massage therapist and can work out those sore, tired muscles. Go ahead, schedule an appointment today. Call La Bella Salon 202-5848. La Bella Salon, 105 Reynolds Drive, next to Skip Russell State Farm in Ruston. What are you waiting for? Now's a great time to give them a call. La Bella Salon, 202-5848. Walk-ins welcome.
Looking for country style that hits like a classic anthem? Meet Chasing Luna Clothing Company. It's ultimate gear for rowdy nights and backyard bonfires. Before you look us up, remember one thing. There is no G in chasing, just CHASIN. That's pure, unfiltered country attitude. We've got graphic tees, premium caps, and rugged outerwear. It's built for the folks who live out loud. Grab your gear online today at chasingluna.com. That is CHASIN Luna.com. Nick Brown for All Hours Fitness Ruston. In Ruston, life doesn't stop at 5 o'clock, neither should your goals. Welcome to All Hours Fitness Ruston, your 24/7 destination for strength, health, and a better you. We've just grown. Enjoy over 15,000 square feet of premium equipment, outdoor training, and live classes. With our exclusive ladies-only area, cryotherapy, red light therapy, massage bed, and tanning, we've taken away every excuse. Locally owned, built for life. Join the family at All Hours Fitness Ruston today.
Friends, this is Skip Russell, your #1 insurance agent in Ruston for the past 42 years. I want you to know that I would be proud to be your insurance agent. Come by and check out our new lower rates on automobile insurance. Call us at 255-5050 or come by our office at 105 Reynolds Drive in Ruston. That's behind Wendy's and Captain D's. Thank you.
When Brownie buys bourbon, it's at the Keg Package. Operating since 1972, the Keg Package has been serving the Ruston Grambling community for over 50 years. The Hightowers purchased the Keg in 2005 and built a new prime location in 2013 on the Tarbutton exit. They offer a wide variety of hard-to-find beer, wine, and liquor. They also have over 20 flavors of delicious frozen drinks. You can purchase Best Stop Boudin and sausage along with Louisiana Tech steaks. Come experience Divine Wine and the Keg Package.
Thanks for tuning in to the Nick Brown Show. On the air, online, and free app.
Welcome back to the Nick Brown Show. We're going to get to the cheer guys list in just a minute, but first I want to talk about Matthew with a very good what he's been able to do without Lane Kiffin or Charlie Weiss Jr. calling the plays. Okay, let's go back. Trinidad Chambliss was a beast at Ferris State, by the way. Can you name what Sunbelt and former SEC coach played ball at Ferris State? That would be...
There's going to be an Auburn tie.
No, Butch Jones. Butch Jones played at Ferris State. But the new offensive coordinator for Ole Miss is John David Baker. He was the offensive coordinator at East Carolina, where he had the Pirate offense ranked 15th in the country. So I think that the Ole Miss offensive coordinator is going to be good because before he was at East Carolina, he was on the Ole Miss coaching staff, co-offensive coordinator, tight ends coach. I think he's going to be fine. He was a passing game coordinator, all these things. So, by the way, he was offensive quality control at North Texas for a little while. So you're bringing in he's going to be fine. So it'll be interesting. Good points you bring up, Matthew. Always appreciate those contributing to the Nick Brown Show on the Origin Bank text line and hotline as we prepare for the Cheer Guys list as John Tabor will find the sounder to get ready for the Cheer Guys list.
Are we ready?
We are ready.
Now, it's time for the Cheer Guys list. A list from Cheer Guys.
I'm telling you, it's just never going to get old.
Nope.
Nope, never will.
All right, so last week we did top 5 games of the upcoming season. And that kind of got me thinking of, those are games for the upcoming season. Those are games that we're excited about. This is going to be top 5 games that I would just kind of like those bucket list games. Like you want to go see them at some point in your life. And so we're going to start off. I had a late edition this morning. I had a game that I thought about that I wanted to add. So somebody's got to get the boot. So getting the boot and going to the honorable mention is going to be USC versus Notre Dame in the Coliseum. And I think that's the biggest thing is some of these we're going to pick where I want to see the game too. So USC versus Notre Dame in the Coliseum is going to get the honorable mention. Number 5, we got to go with the Red River rivalry in the Cotton Bowl. Just history right there. 2 fan bases that are always going to be there. It doesn't matter what their record is going into that game. It's always going to matter. And Nick's face right now, I can tell he's waiting to see where I'm putting the Iron Bowl in this. I know exactly
You're
what
right,
he's
because
thinking.
this position is open. I had 3 people ask, hey, when can we come in like the cheer guy? I said you can't, but where this game ranks on your list.
So number 5, we had Texas versus Oklahoma, Red River rivalry. Number 4, the Penn State whiteout game. I think that's some of the best images in college football is the Penn State whiteout game. There's so many just great moments from that game, so many great images. I mean, when you think about just the hype around college football, the Penn State whiteout game has got to be mentioned. So now we're in the top 3. I'm going number 3 is the Iron Bowl. And I want to see it in Bryant-Denny. And here's why. Let me explain why.
You want to see it? Yeah. So you're going to take the Iron Bowl, and you want to see it in Bryant-Denny over Jordan-Hare.
The reason is and it's just for personal reasons because I've already been to Jordan-Hare. Like, I've already been there. And so I've never been to Bryant-Denny Stadium to see a game, and so I would rather see it there because I've never seen a game there. Other than that, I probably would have gone to Auburn, but I'm going to put that at 3.
Okay.
Number 2, Michigan, Ohio State in the Big House. I mean, literally the game. And I wanted to put this one at 1, but there's number 1 I think is unbeatable. But Michigan versus Ohio
Louisiana
State.
Tech, ULM.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
He hates Louisiana?
No. Number 1, Army versus Navy. That is my. Are you going to see just absolutely great football? No. But in the world of NIL and everything else going on right now, talk about 2 teams that when they're playing each other, it is just straight hatred for each other. And then also to be able to see the cadets come in and everything else, like I just can't think of like that's just that's an American staple of a game. Like if you I have a cousin who's going to play soccer there next year. She's signed to play at Navy, so I feel like
that's cool.
So I feel like I've got it, anchored down, right? Or
you do know that your board op for the morning served the country in the Navy. So
yeah.
we're always
you knew that.
Yeah,
and then
we talked about that. Other than that, I wouldn't have had necessarily like a huge preference, but because she's going into the Navy, I feel like I have to pick that she's going to play soccer there. So that would be my number one game, and I really would love it. Army, I think that would be cool, but I know they don't do that anymore. I don't think they've done that
I
since
don't think
COVID.
they've played. Yeah, they haven't played on campus.
No, I think they did it during COVID, and that was the last time. But so my honorable mention was USC versus Notre Dame in the Coliseum. Number 5, Texas versus Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry. My number 4 game was the whiteout at Penn State. Number 3, the Iron Bowl at Bryant-Denny Stadium, to Nick's anger. Then Michigan versus Ohio State in the Big House, and then Army versus Navy.
What a great list from the Cheer Guide. You can give your thoughts and opinions on the Origin Bank text line at 888-993-7762. We're going to get to the Bourbon of the Month in just a second. Going to those text line, LSU Andy, his favorite place to eat over in the Clinton area is Sonny's Barbecue. Sonny's Barbecue, very good. And he's now ECU Pirate fan colors, purple and gold. But you know those are not for ECU, but more LSU. Nick, from Cookie this morning, do you think with ULM being 133rd, does Coach Vincent survive if ULM doesn't go at least 5-7 or to a bowl game? I will tell you that, and I've spent many minutes speaking with, in fact, we enjoyed our visit. I dropped the ball. We had Bryant Vincent. I gave him a thumbs up like, you're out of here. He's peace sign. You gotcha. We visited with Bryant Vincent for what, about 30 minutes?
Oh, at least. And it was unprompted, unsolicited, like just straight, just talk.
You look at the injuries. There are places where you can afford injuries, and that's not coach speak and excuse. And I told this because you guys know, if you've listened to this show for any amount of time, you know that my fondness is for kickers and punters. In fact, RJ left the studio to go work with Paw this morning, a kicker and punter. And there's a part of me, I love college baseball. Now, the money that athletes get is better on the football side. The scholarships available, you can afford to miss one. It's really hard to get in the baseball world to get the scholarships now that they're down to 34 roster spots. You can have a few holdovers, those rules that are really difficult to understand. That, like, if you came out when it was puts a team above 34. But you look at the injuries to the kickers. Number 1. You look at number 2, they had a turnover, and I think Bryant Vincent is fully invested, but he became the interim AD. Now, for you and I, we read that, we say, oh, that's just a title to add more money to his. It wasn't.
No, I mean, talking to him, I mean, he was doing some work as the AD. Like, when I think when we were talking to him, and this isn't a knock on ULM, it's probably going to sound like one, but it sounded like high school. Like he was doing work that like a high school AD is doing.
He was doing the administrative duties that you don't think about. Like, okay, we need to make sure that soccer has this and go through, because I mean, he was talking about soccer. We need to make sure the travel is taken care of for this. He was legitimately
he was
being an athletic director.
Oh, and he was being a coordinator at the same time too. So he was being a coordinator, an AD, and a head football coach all during football season, dealing with losing both kickers with 20-plus injuries. So
21, 20-plus injuries,
Like, do I think that he's got to win games? Let's just call it how it is. Like, at this level, he's going to have to win games this season. But I think that he has some talent there, that, you know, maybe some diamonds in the rough, and I think that he will be set up to be successful. Now, I don't know that I would say probably 5-7, 6-6 is probably a good ceiling for them
I think
season.
it's a great one. I've got the ULM schedule in front of me. We're going to get to that Bourbon of the Month. Sometimes it seems like 2 hours is not enough for this show. We're going to – I'll run down the schedule real quick, and we'll come back with our Bourbon of the Month for July, brought to you by Divine Wine and the Keg Package. But they open up with Mississippi State. Jeff Lebby, let's go ahead and call that a loss. That's a money game that you have to play. Then they travel to UAB. Now, this is big. I want to tell you that the Brown family, every time we watch a game, we pull for somebody. I knew who Bryant Vincent was before I actually met Bryant Vincent because a huge fan of Bill Clark. Bill Clark handed the keys over to him, and Bryant Vincent kept that car running. UAB has paid the price. They went through Trent Dilfer. Now they're on to Mortensen. He did everything in his power. He deserved to have the UAB job. They went in a different direction. Don't get me started on that. Maybe they don't want to be successful at UAB, but he deserved the UAB job. He took the toughest job in Division I football, one of those at ULM. Now, at UAB, I am going to be pulling so hard for him to go home and take care of business. In fact, Bryant Vincent went to the University of West Alabama. I grew up calling it Livingston University, LU. Sister finished there. But then Southeastern Louisiana. If he can somehow come out of those 3 games with a 2-1 record, it's going to be a very good year. Then host FAU. That is a winnable game, and I'll tell you why. Florida Atlantic is Boca. You think of athletes, they're in Boca. They're coming to Monroe. Okay? That is winnable. That is a winnable game. South Alabama, major Applewhite Conference game on the road. I'll give that to South Alabama. Then October 17th, Louisiana Tech. Who knows what is going to happen? You're going to get the best out of both squads.
That's one of those games that they could both come into that one 0-5, and you still don't. And one could come in 5-0, and one could come in 0-5, and it does not matter. Like, that is just going to be a great game.
And then you go to Troy. Troy, by the way, who used to be in the Southland Conference, that's a loss. Southern Miss at home, very winnable game. So UAB, Southeastern Louisiana, FAU. Win those 3. You've got Southern Miss. That is 4. Arkansas State, Louisiana, App State, Marshall. 5 wins is going to be the ceiling in Monroe this year.
Yeah, and some of those games that we talked about, they're capable of winning, but we can see traditionally they do better in the first half.
If
of the
Bryant
season.
Vincent and ULM win 6 games this year, he's Coach of the Year in the Sun Belt Conference.
Oh, because, I mean, he has quite literally the least expectations of anybody.
Tabor, you want to take a break and get to the Bourbon of the Month? We're going to take a break, come back. We'll have our Bourbon of the Month here on the Nick Brown Show. We'll be right back after this break.
Here's your weather forecast on this Saturday here on Sports Talk 97.7. Temperatures will rise just a little bit than they did yesterday. Look for a high of around 94 degrees under cloudy skies. We could see a stray shower or thunderstorm, but other than that, we should be in good shape. Low tonight of 75. Then for your Sunday, sunny along with a few afternoon clouds and hot with a high of 96. And then some clouds early will give way to generally clear conditions overnight with a low of 76.
Has your yard work and summer fun already put your back and neck in a bind? Bending, lifting, twisting puts additional tension and pressure on your back and neck. Once your muscles and nerves become inflamed, you start to feel the pain and stiffness, and no matter how many over-the-counter medications you take, it just won't go away. Well, it's time to call Dr. Bob Rendina at Chiro Network in Ruston. Chiropractic treatments work to get your back and neck working properly again. Play it smart. Stretch before and after. And when you need a chiropractor, call Dr. Bob Rendina at Chiro Network in Ruston.
I'm Mariah Butcher, nurse practitioner with Rejuve-Me Medical. If you've been putting in the work, you've been making your health a priority, but you feel like your progress has stalled, peptide therapy is what comes next. At Rejuve-Me Medical, we offer targeted support for metabolism, recovery, and body composition built around your labs and your life. You didn't come this far to stop here. Find us at RejuveMeMedical.com. That's REJUVIME medical.com.
You know what that sound means. It's time for the Pillowy Pluff Delicious Daylight Donut. Go visit them at 108 Monticello Avenue in Ruston, just north of I-20. They're open Monday, 5:30 to 10:30 a.m., Tuesday through Friday, 5:30 to 11:30 a.m., and on Saturday and Sunday from 6 to 12. Daylight Donuts of Ruston, proudly supporting the Nick Brown Show for the last 10 years. Ask for a wedding cake-filled donut. It's a Nick Brown Show favorite.
Hey, Jeff, looks like your business is really booming, even in a tough time for businesses like ours.
Hey, Mike, Yeah, thanks to LendSeek, our business was able to take care of some outstanding bills and taxes and to purchase inventory and expand our product lines.
Wow. You know, my business needs working capital, but only from a reputable company that I can trust and count on. How does LendSeek work?
Fast and easy. Just apply at lendseek.com. Their AI lending platform gave my business access to over 100 funding programs with one simple application. And it costs nothing to apply.
At lendseek.com, you can receive business funding with no collateral, no prepayment penalties, and no restrictions on how you use the funds. Whatever your funding needs are, seek no more. Our AI lending marketplace has you covered. If you've been in business at least 1 year with annual revenue of at least $250,000, you could get the funding your business needs in as little as 24 hours. There's no obligation, so apply today at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
Sports Talk Southern Style on the Nick Brown Show.
Welcome back to the Nick Brown Show. And we had RJ in here earlier. It was interesting because
he just ducked out, didn't he?
He did, working with Paul Pace more than
I went to speak to him, and I look around, and I'm like, oh, he's not sitting there.
Well, working with Paul Pace a lot more than working with Dad. What do you call me?
That's a time-honored tradition right there.
Big Nick? Is that what he called me this morning on the show?
Emphasize the big.
Yes. It's interesting because RJ actually played. One of the reasons he got to Thibodaux, one year, your father-in-law, Paul Guerrero, needed a catcher, made a call, was familiar with RJ from the days at Ruston and Neville. One of the outfielders that Paul had on that team for the Monroe Moccasins played with RJ that year, is now coaching at Nichols. And when the head coach, Brent Herring, said, hey, look at this catcher on Twitter, he goes, hey, I played ball with that guy. And that's how you get to Thibodaux. And Shane, appreciate your text this morning. Congratulations on the birth of your grandchild down in Thibodaux. So maybe they can make it out to watch RJ play. But big news out of your father-in-law's camp.
Yeah, so he just this week accepted the job at Minden High School, so he'll be the head coach at Minden. I think they're actually listening on the road right now, and I tell you what, Minden's investing. We got to drive out there the other day. They're investing. Their baseball stadium's actually torn all the way to the ground. $4 million stadium.
Where's it going to be? Is it going to be?
It's going to be in the exact same place as the old one.
Oh, so he'll be a road warrior this year.
Yeah, so this year, road warrior. I think they're going to be able to have a few games at like the rec center out there. But yeah, they're investing $4 million. And I'll tell you something that surprised me. Going to be one of the first high schools I've ever seen. Softball has turf. Baseball will have turf infield and base lines and then foul lines as well. So still natural grass outfield. But football is still natural grass. I don't think I've ever seen a high school where football gets turf last.
That is I love that stadium where they play football.
Oh, I do too. So we drove out there and was shocked. I was expecting.
Does football still play right there on the school campus?
Yes, and I was expecting a smaller stadium. It's big.
I will tell you, I never won a game in Webster Parish. I called one time. The official came in and called us over the free throw line from the lobby of the old gym back when Alan Shaw was leading the men. And now here's the deal. Good luck to Paul. Congrats to Paul. But there are two words that you can't say in here. So you're going to have to revamp when you cheer for Minden. How about go Minden, yay Minden?
I think we're going to get one pass so that everybody understands. But like,
say it, Nick. Say it.
I'm not. I am not.
The Minden.
Roll Tide.
You know what the cheer guy is going to do? The cheer guy is going to be that guy. He's going to go to his father-in-law's games with the detergent and toilet paper. My God, what do we bring into this studio? You're going to make
you got a mouse in your pocket?
I'm going to make sure that on November 28th, somehow I get to say Roll Tide.
Oh, my God.
On the radio just for you.
All right. Then with that, we'll go to congratulations to Paul.
Did we get our bourbon of the week?
Bourbon of the month. We got it right here.
Okay.
All right. So our bourbon of the month is from Bullet Bourbon and Frontier Whiskey, Mesquite Smoked Malt. I made my way out to Divine Wine in the Keg package, and I was just shooting some video of the different bourbons that they had, and all of a sudden Hightower comes out from the back, says, "You can't make videos here." And I said, "Oh, thank you, Hightower." He goes, "I'm just kidding." So Seth came out and he said, "Here's your bourbon of the month." but it is a mesquite smoked malt. Now, if you know about it, it's 65% mash bill of corn, 30% mesquite smoked malted barley, and 5% standard malt. It's been aged for a minimum of 6 years, 93 proof, by the way, very smooth, but it smells like caramelized sugar, burnt sugar, fresh cut firewood, warm mesquite smoke, but on the palate, vanilla, butterscotch, light oak, and then that barbecue inspired, that little edge that you get, but it has that warmth of barbecue and the black peppercorn and sweet oak. Very good. That is Bullet Bourbon Mesquite Smoked Malt, and you can get that at the Divine Wine and Keg package. That is our bourbon of the month. Certainly appreciate everyone listening to the show today. Thanks to all of the great texts that came in on the Origin Bank text line, as well as phone calls on the Origin Bank hotline. And you can watch the show on YouTube. We'd appreciate you going and subscribe to the Nick Brown Show channel. For John Tabor, for RJ Brown, and the cheer guy, I am Nick Brown. Until next week.